Whether it's street musicians playing for tips, statues at crossroads, or magnificent fountains in the middle of busy intersections, it's clear that Spain puts a premium on something that enriches everyone who lives or visits here. It's the emphasis on the arts. Whether by day or night, the streets of Madrid are always filled with people. Some are just reading the newspaper, catching the sights, or posing for pictures. I'm getting ready to enter Puerta del Sol, the gateway of the sun in downtown Madrid. It's one of the most popular places to see or be seen. In fact, it's the eastern entrance to the old city of Madrid. It's also home to the symbol of Madrid. This is one of the most photographed statues in the whole city. It's a bear trying to reach the berries of a tree. This spot is the center of Spain in more ways than one. This marker in the sidewalk in front of Madrid's police station is the 0-kilometer mark. All distance from Madrid is measured from right here. And just down the street from Puerta del Sol is Plaza Mayor, the main plaza. It's been the site of executions, it's been the site of bullfights, but now it's mainly a people place, and there's music. If you feel a kind of kinship to this city, you should.
Mobile was a part of Spanish West Florida. This king who built this palace behind us, Carlos III, ruled Spain when Spain ruled Mobile. And this is the period that the exhibition is actually covering, 1746 to 1833.
Jack Kyle is talking about the Majesty of Spain exhibition coming to Jackson, Mississippi next month. Hundreds of pieces of art will be available for you to see.
I think that the exhibition in Mississippi, the Majesty of Spain exhibition, will help to illuminate to our region the important effect that Spain and its culture and its history has had upon our region.
This huge limestone and granite complex in the middle of Madrid is a national treasure in Spain. It's the Royal Palace, which took 26 years to build in the 1700s. Up until the 1930s, it was the official home of kings and queens. Today, everyone can tour its halls and see the splendors within. Many of the works of art that'll be coming to Jackson here from the Royal Palace in Madrid come from the period of 1780 to 1813, which is when Spain ruled Mobile. The president of Spain's National Trust, the Duke of San Carlos, believes the exhibit is a natural for people along our Gulf Coast.
I think that they will be able to see a reference to that part of their history, and then they will try to live or be able to look from the inside, the way the court in Spain lived in that moment. What kind of painting, sculpture, music, etc. was produced in that period. I think it will be interesting.
More than 600 pieces of Spanish history are coming to Jackson, including this throne of King Carlos III. It's just down the hall from the royal dining room, which has a table big enough to seat 260 people. It's still used for state occasions. Some of the furniture from the palace is also making the trip to Jackson. Tables by Sabatini dating back to the 1700s. This bronze and marble statue holding a lance and scepter is a symbol of Spain. It's found in the Gasparini room, done in the ornate Rococo style.
Rococo Chinese style. style because it was the fashion at that time. And if you look at the ceiling, you see in each corner a couple of Chinese people, and all around you can see flowers, fruits, birds.
And you'll be able to see this 200-year-old gold table from the time of Fernando VII. Aranjuez, surrounded by parks and man-made waterfalls, offered Spain's royal families a break from the extreme weather often found in Madrid. The royal palace here south of Madrid contains two important pieces of art that are coming to Jackson. One is a replica of a room that is entirely made of porcelain. The other is a portrayal of the crucifixion of Christ that has never left Spain. This is It by Anton Maes, who created works of art for Spain's royal family during the middle to late 1700s. Dr. Javier Morales is the curator of the Majesty of Spain exhibition. Would you consider this the most famous or most important painting in Spain?
Yes, the both. The most important and one of the most famous painting in Spain. It is very important in our history because we can say that with this painting, the neoclassical period in Spain began.
Aranjuez is also home to a room dating from the mid-1700s that was built simply to be a conversation piece.
We are now in the Porcelain Room, one of the jewels of this palace.
That's right. The walls, the ceiling, even the chandelier are all made entirely of porcelain. While something this large can't be brought to Jackson, it will be duplicated exactly and become the grand centerpiece of the exhibition. Later this week, I'll show you how. We're also going to be visiting this casetta and a sculpture gallery that's going to be completely recreated in Jackson. Part of the magic of assembling the gallery for the exhibit is the use of a painting technique called faux marble. Alwyn Vanderlyn will spend 6 weeks in Jackson painting the entire room.
The main difference is that in feeling it will not be the same thing because marble's cold when you touch it, and when you do it in paint on wood, which is going to be the case, it'll have a warmer feel, warmer touch. A number of ancient Roman busts and several pieces of sculpture will complete the room. It was built to give thanks to God. It was designed to show the divine right of kings. It has stood on this spot for more than 400 years. This is El Escorial. As Mobile gets ready to celebrate its tricentennial, you need to know that Mobile and Spanish history have been intertwined for many years. The first European explorers to come to Mobile Bay arrived in 1519. They were Spanish. And then Spain actually ruled Mobile from 1780 until 1813. El Escorial was built shortly after those explorers arrived on the Gulf Coast. Today, this combination art museum and monastery holds a number of priceless treasures that will be coming to Jackson. The Royal Bourbon Apartments contain some of the art you'll see, including some scenes that might remind you of Mobile's Mardi Gras, like this cartoon or sketch by Goya showing two boys playing with a pig's bladder, the same kind that Folly uses on Mardi Gras Day. Both the rough drawing and the final product will be coming to Jackson. El Escorial is home to other carefree scenes of Spanish life, like these children on a seesaw. Furniture like this is also on its way to Jackson.
much of it leaving Spain for the first and maybe last time. Religion was central to Spanish life, and this basilica sits in the center of El Escorial and features this towering altarpiece. The main altar stands above the final resting place of all but two of Spain's kings and queens. This is the royal pantheon, where the bones of kings like Carlos III rest in coffins that are stacked one on top of the other. A short distance from El Escorial is another little treasure. It may not look spectacular from the outside, but the inside is stunning. Several pieces of sculpture from this casita are heading to Jackson, bringing some of the Majesty of Spain with it. We gave you a sneak peek at the Porcelain Room a couple of nights ago. Built in the 1760s, it was intended to be a conversation piece for the royal family of Spain, something to show off for the guests. It would be impossible to bring this room, roof, walls, and chandelier all the way to Jackson, Mississippi. That's why organizers did the next best thing. This may look like a garage, but it's really the home of more than a dozen artists and craftsmen. It's the workshop of the art restoration firm El Barco. When we visited them, they were putting the finishing touches on an exact duplicate of the room we saw in Aranjuez.
The wall here is to look like the white porcelain panels that exist in the true palace. So they have taken this and sanded it, and they've created a sheen over the gloss, and it's uneven in places, which is done purposefully to adhere to the original, because the original porcelain is not just absolutely precise. It has some curves and grooves in it.
And this is one of the places where all this craftsmanship comes together. The ceiling of the Porcelain Room was painted in another part of the workshop, and where the original contained gold leaf, so does the copy. 50,000 sheets of 22-karat gold, ever so gently applied and smoothed into place with a soft brush, brushed against the cheek to reduce static electricity. When it comes to creating the look of false marble for one of the other rooms in the exhibition, they don't order it, they mix it. And they slice it.
I'm very impressed, in fact, because one of the things I didn't realize is that the copy they're making is not just the color marble that they're reproducing, but they use these photographs in order to put the exact dark and light spots at the same place again. So the copy of the marble is identical to the original.
You can't be creative on an empty stomach. Lunchtime meant a table full of meat and cheese and wine, followed by a little Spanish dancing. You might call this the royal rowboat. It's actually a gondola carefully carved during the 1600s and restored before being shipped to Jackson. The boat is 55 feet long and almost 10 feet wide. It is the largest object in the exhibition. Workers used thousands of sheets of gold leaf to bring a gleam back to the hull. Old paintings show what the gondola looked like when it was taken out for a spin on local lakes. The trip to Mississippi is by far the longest it has ever taken. It will cost $150,000 just to ship it here. This royal carriage, kept in its own building at the Royal Palace in Madrid, was built in the early 1800s for King Fernando VII. It's covered in gilded bronze, crystal, and precious stones. It's also making the trip to Jackson, so you can check out the royal ride for yourself. This is El Pardo. It's one of the royal palaces. It dates back to the early 1700s. Much later than that, it was used as a residence and a headquarters of Francisco Franco. And its contribution to the Majesty of Spain coming to Jackson, some Goya tapestries, and a reproduction of what's called the Hall of Stuccos. This is where the hall is located, on the grounds of El Pardo, in a small house called a casita. The walls are made of material meant to look like marble, called scagliola.
This room is so magnificent and lavish. It utilizes scagliola. Some people pronounce it scaliola. Some people pronounce it scagliola. But nevertheless, it is a stucco technique of recreating the look and the feel of marble versus painting marble to look like marble under Trompe l'oeil. The Hall of Stuccos actually probably will be the most authentic recreation in that we're using the same materials. They used scagliola here. We're using scagliola in Mississippi.
It sits on a street that bears its name and contains the world's greatest collection of Spanish paintings, including works by masters like Velázquez and Goya. The Prado is one of the finest art museums in the world, and we're about to take an after-hours look at some of the pieces that are coming to Jackson.
The Prado is no doubt one of the top 5 museums in the world, primarily a painting gallery, a picture gallery. 95% of its collections probably are paintings. And there we're going to see the largest collection in the world of Goya paintings. And we will have represented in the exhibition in Mississippi portraits and cartoon paintings by Francisco de Goya, as well as paintings by Antoine Raphael Mengs, Giambattista Tiepolo, and about 15 or so artists, all whose paintings are represented in the collection of the Prado.
When they talk about cartoons, they're referring to detailed sketches drawn before a final work was approved.
To see both the cartoon, that means the previous drawing, or well, not drawing because it's the scene finished already, and the final work, the tapestry.
The most famous of these is called El Quitasol, the parasol. It will be displayed along with the tapestry it inspired. This is such a popular painting in Spain that it will only be allowed in Jackson for 3 months, when it will be replaced by Goya's painting of those boys in the pig bladder. Goya was also known for his portraits of the royal family, and he refused to make them look better than life. His hunting portrait of Carlos III is one of those paintings, which will also come to Jackson. Madrid is in the heart of Spain and home to some of the best examples of Spanish culture. Until now, you would have to travel thousands of miles to see it for yourself. In less than a month's time, it will be coming to you.